Good morning, guys. It is a beautiful day. I'm back home from visiting Ohio, and I think that we should do something with this. And this. This is an ice fishing rod. I think today is going to be the day that I think I finally put something in this tank, because I set it up almost 2 months ago. That filter's been running for weeks. I've just been gone for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Do you have an issue? I'm still taking her fishing soon, guys. I did not forget, but I'm gonna go to Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm gonna use this little ice fishing rod. I'm going to leave it a secret what I am targeting today and what I'm planning to put in that fish tank. I hope it's not too much of a secret, but I'll leave that a little bit of a surprise on what I'm exactly targeting to put in that tank. So I'm going to go to the only tackle store near my house right now, which happens to be Dick's Sporting Goods. That's literally the only thing within 15 miles of my house. I need some tackle for the type of fishing I'm going to be doing today. And also, I need a bait well or something to transport these fish, because I obviously can't just throw them in the back seat and hope they'll be good. So just got out of Dick's Sporting Goods. I didn't film in there because it really wasn't all that interesting. And last time I filmed in there, they kicked me out. So I don't know why some stores don't exactly like cameras like that, but I just didn't want to mess with it. All I got was this. There's like $2 little pre-rigged tubes. There's 5 of them. That should be enough. Again, I'm just fishing a small creek. And then I got this. This was only like $6. It's a Frabill flow troll, so I'll be able to hold this in the water, get water flowing through it. But problem is they didn't have any aerators in there. And I don't really want to transport these fish 30 minutes home in still water for obvious reasons. So I'm gonna go a little off the wall right now. There's a Petco or a PetSmart or whatever the hell it is, like half a mile away. I'm gonna see if they have an aerator, like aerating stones. I know that's a thing. I don't know, it's just something that'll aerate the water on the ride home so these fish don't die. Just got to the spot, rigging up my rod right now, but I was able to pick this up from Petco. It is an Imagitarium bubbling air stone. I don't know if this is gonna quite work. I'm just gonna try to throw it in the water. I don't know if these things bubble by themselves. I don't know if they need moving water. I'm basically just gonna throw these in the bait well and hope they work. If worse comes to worse, if these are doing nothing, I think the fish will survive in the 20-30 minutes it's gonna take when I drive them home. Either way, I gotta catch them first. And big reveal, the fish I really wanna catch is a crappie. In this fish tank, I really want a crappie, maybe a perch. I want a bass, but I don't really want a bass. It seems everyone has a bass. I want a little bit of a different fish tank. I don't see many crappie. I love crappie. I think having a crappie in a fish tank would be freaking sweet. So that's what I'm gonna try to catch today. The regulations on this little creek are, I think it's 7 inches? 7 inches. And there's also no size limit on bluegill. So if I catch a decent bluegill, I might also keep that, because having a good sized bluegill and watching that thing grow in a tank would be sweet. Lee from Today's Angler said that he grew a bluegill to like 12 or 13 inches, like just a giant bluegill. So I think that would be pretty cool to keep a bluegill in there and watch it grow and just see how big I could grow a bluegill to. But I think that would be a little easier if I caught one that was already like 10 inches or so. But that's for ice fishing season. Right now, I'm gonna hope to catch a legal crappie. It is a windy one. I don't know why fall decided to show up so early. It's like 63 and windy today in the very beginning of September. I can't remember the last time it's been this cold in like the end of August, beginning of September. And there's no end in sight. Like for the next 10 days here in Chicago, it's low in the high 60s, low 70s. Very cold. How's the creek looking? Oh, creek's looking beautiful. Nice clear water. All right, we got to go to the deeper holes that's going to be holding the fish. Well, this is usually a good spot, but the water's very low right now. I'm casting this tube out and I can see a bunch of little fish hitting it. It's just a bunch of little green sunfish. We've already been past the green sunfish stage. There's a lot of green sunfish right here. There's usually some bass and crappie here. I am not seeing any. I got something. Here's our first fish, and is it another green sunfish? Yes, it is. 99% positive that's a green sunfish. Not the target species for the day. I haven't really been to this river in a while. This hole used to be like 4 feet deep. Used to hold a lot of crappie. Right now it's like 2 foot. There's really not many holes, deep holes in this creek, so we might have to move spots and go to just the deepest ones, because this creek actually is running very clear and low right now. I am impressed by this reel though. This reel is handling quite well. I used it twice to do those underwater fishing videos, so this thing was very submerged in the water. It was a $30 Shimano Sienna that I bought last winter for ice fishing. Still performing really great. So if you guys are looking for a cheap ice fishing reel, This is not a paid endorsement. This is an I believe in the Shimano Sienna. Here we are to the super secret creek spot. All it is like a 4 or 5 foot hole where literally sanitation dumps clean water in. It's clean, but it just creates a big hole. There's usually always a bunch of fish right here. Here we go. There's one. There's two. There's three. There's four. Got him that time. Ooh, there's some size to that guy. Uh-oh, he came off. Uh-oh. Where'd you go? There's a little bluegill. Where's my thing? I'll just let him go. There's more bluegill in there. All right. See you, buddy. He was small anyway. Good start. I just need a bigger one or a crappie. It's a really cool spot. There's usually a bunch of tiny smallmouth here too, like 4 to 6 inch smallmouth that you can catch a bunch of. Problem is they need to be 15 inches to keep on this creek. Well, there we go. They need to be 15 inches to keep. Oh, see, look at, perfect example. Can anyone tell me a better size of smallmouth that would be perfect for a tank? Look at that. Perfect little smallmouth. Unfortunately, you can't keep them unless they're 15 inches, but like this hole right here, the perfect fish tank smallmouth size. But if there wasn't any regulations, people would be keeping those, so then there would be no smallmouth left. Obviously not mad about the regulations, but just saying that that's a perfect size to be keeping for a tank. There's so many fish in here right now because they don't have anywhere else to go. The rest of the creek is inches deep. Oh, that's big. What is that? What is that? That's big. Big for the creek, obviously, but what is this? Oh, I really regret bringing this tiny... Oh, it's a nice smallie, I think. Oh, yeah, it is. Wow, this is a big smallmouth for this creek. Woohoo! Beautiful. Oh, look at this. Gorgeous little creek smallmouth. All right. Look at that. If you had a big enough tank, this would be another perfect tank fish because it's big enough to eat a lot of really cool things. There we go, we got him out. Beautiful little creek smallie. How's my tube jig doing? It's kind of ruined. That's awesome. That might very well be the biggest fish in this whole pool. Yeah, the tube has seen better days. Maybe we can squeeze some more out of it. Come on, crappie. We need some paper mouths. Oh, what is this? Another greenie. Oh, this one, no, it's a pumpkin seed. Right? Pumpkin seed? Look at the orange tip on the tail. It's gotta be a pumpkin seed, I think. I totally retract my statement about microfishing not being fun after musky fishing. When you can catch them almost every cast and you don't know what you're gonna pull up, that is a blast. What do we got? What do we got? Feels bluegilly. Oh yeah, that's a nice gill. Just in case we don't get a crappie, let's put this bluegill in here. This is a nice, healthy bluegill. We can always release them if we catch a crappie or bigger bluegill, or if you don't want to keep one, but that thing shouldn't go anywhere right there. Should be good. That's what I get for setting my camera up. I'll be right back, folks. Technical difficulties, as in there's gravel all over my camera. All right, we're back in action. I don't really know how that fell, but nothing broke, so that's good. What do we got? I thought I was cursing. I turned the camera on. Ooh. Green sunfish or pumpkin seed? You guys are gonna have to help me learn these panfish. Well, this thing is small and I can lip it, so can't be a bluegill. I know it's not a bluegill. What is this? It has like beautiful blue on its mouth. It has like a beautiful blue pattern on its mouth. I don't know what it is, but it's really pretty. I do know it's not a crappie. I'm gonna go back to the GoPro because I have a bunch of anxiety about that camera and I'm worried it's gonna fall every 5 seconds. My honey hole is going a little dry on me. I might need to switch spots and go to literally the only other spot on this whole entire creek that I know is a deep hole and has fish. Ooh, what is this? Is this a crappie? It's not a smallmouth. Come on, what are you? Ah, it's a little largy. Still, another perfect tank fish. It's amazing how many different type of species I've caught in this tiny little hole right here. Hi, largy. Look at the colors on them. Pretty little creek fish. Ah. Those are perfect tank pets. But what I was saying is that we might have to go to the only other hole I know to get our crappie. Our paper mouth, our saccolate, whatever you call them. I'm pretty sure they're called saccolates in the South. Some real Cajun words. Wow, that was a brutal Cajun accent too. If you guys couldn't tell from my crayfish catch and cook, see, I even called it a crayfish, not a crawfish. I'm so not Cajun, it hurts. I've never wanted to catch a crappie so bad and not been able to. All right, guys, so I've been fishing here for quite a while now. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any crappie, and I don't think there's anything else that's pet worthy, like lengthwise. There's a bunch of really awesome, colorful fish, but they're not long enough to keep. So I'm gonna go to one more spot and hopefully I can hook up with our precious crappie there. Bye, buddy. So this is how I know the water's super low. We haven't had rain here in so long. All this is usually under a foot or two of water, and it's a big time struggle to cross. I will have no issues this time, even with the sandals. Oh, here's the first fish. I didn't even feel him. Look at how black this sunfish is. Much different color than the last sunfish. Right? I think that's a green sunfish. It's got the same blue markings right there. It's just a very dark green sunfish. I got one of these guys. There's like 100 of these fish. This creek has changed. The deep hole used to be right there, but now there's a huge deep hole right here, and there's got to be 100 small fish that I can see just hanging on the surface. And these are what they are. Little gills. There's got to be some bigger ones mixed in. This hole used to be filled with crappie, a couple largemouth, mostly nicer smallmouth. Believe it or not, I caught a 19-inch smallmouth here when I was like 13, right there. We sight fished it and cast it at it for almost an hour until it finally hit. But this creek has changed. This all used to be like a foot deep of just rock, and now it's a deep hole. Shocker, all the fish are hanging out in the deep hole with the shade. I still don't see any signs of crappie though. And we got another bluegill. Like I said, there's got to be 100 of them down there. There has to still be crappie in here. Maybe they're over here. And it's another bluegill. This one's a little bigger than the others though. At least by an inch. Oh, that's because it isn't a bluegill. I don't think. It's got a pretty big mouth. If I truly desired, I could sit here and catch 100 of those. Oh. I still have high hopes for a crappie. You know, the day is not over, but the fact that I haven't seen one is slightly concerning. I've seen nothing but little dink bluegills, in which I have another one right now. The reason why there's usually crappie in this spot is because this is a golf course, and a golf course, ooh, what do I have? Bigger bluegill. A golf course pond connects to it, and the golf course pond has crappie. So a lot of times during low water, when the water gets hot, the crappie will all move into here, but it's not looking like that's the case. Microfishing is showing me just how awful I am at identifying panfish. I want to say this is a bluegill, but it's got kind of a big mouth. I'm really not sure. Oh, what is this? It's a bass. At least we got something that's not a dink bluegill. Again, this fish is just like the crappie. They come from that little pond there. Sweet. Well, the goal for the day was to catch a new pet for the tank, like specifically a crappie, but if this was just out to have some fun and catch a lot of fish, we would be scoring big time. I've caught an incredible amount of species of fish today, just not a single crappie. But still, like, I've had sustained action all day long. It's cold, all the fish in the lakes and ponds are probably freezing, they're not gonna wanna cooperate. Creek fish, river fish will always eat. You know, I could sit here all day and catch a bunch of 3 to 6 inch bluegill and sunfish and stuff like that. I'm gonna go over the bridge and under there because that seems to where I see a lot of bigger blowups happening. I'm the only one to have ever fished here. Wow, someone's literally fishing with like 50-pound mono. How much is there? I hate when people leave line like this because birds can get stuck in it, like other animals. It's just no bueno. Look at that. That's like 50-pound mono in a tiny creek. What the hell are people thinking? This is instant fish. Yep. Oh no, the tiniest bluegill got hooked. All right, what is this? It's kind of heavier. Oh, it's all mud under there. Wow, okay, that's a big bluegill. For a small creek. It's a pretty good sized gill. That guy's all of 5 inches right there. Just a mondo. Come here, crappie. I know you're here, crappie. The thing about the crappie in this spot is how it always was, is there wasn't small crappie here. I don't even know if that was proper English, but there was never small crappie here. They were always at least like 8 to 10 inch long. I've even caught them up to 12 inches here. So maybe people fished here and kept them. I don't know. I hope that's not the case. Well guys, I might have to give up on the crappie venture. I've been fishing this exact spot, this pool, for 20 minutes. This whole spot, like the bridge, all these deep pools, for close to an hour now. And it's just not happening. There's no crappie here anymore, or at least no crappie that are hitting my chartreuse little jig, which is also very, very plausible. That's also a possibility. Well guys, it kills me to say this, but unfortunately I'm going to have to accept defeat on this first hunt for a new pet in my fish tank. There's just no crappie in these holes anymore. I don't know if they've moved, because crappie move a lot in these creeks. They're just not there. I don't know if they moved, I don't know if they got eaten. Whatever the case, they're not there. Usually if there's crappie in these holes, they're some of the first fish I catch because they're much bigger, they're more aggressive, they get to the food first, so on and so forth. They're just not here anymore. I started the day really hoping for an 8 to 12 inch crappie to keep and put in the tank as our first pet, but still had a great day of microfishing. Caught 5 or 6? No, not 5 or 6 species, 4 or 5, I don't know. Caught a lot of species, a ton of fish. It was a really fun day, just no pets. So the hunt for a new pet continues. I know even the tank's not finished. I'm gonna need some more decorations in there. I've gone back and forth because a lot of you told me that it's just a fish tank. They don't need to hide in anything. It's not like they're in the wild and need to ambush prey, but I'd still like to make the tank look a little more pretty. I haven't decided if I want to just put a lot of smaller fish in there, just 1 or 2 bigger ones, big as in like 10 to 15. I also have an idea to get a predator fish in there, just leave it at that, in a much bigger tank. So there's stuff working in my brain right now. I'll be home for a little bit now. The fishing's very meh right now. It's August, September. It's very meh. So until that fall bite picks up, I think I'm going to be working on this fish tank for a little bit. I sincerely hope each and every one of you enjoyed, and I will catch you on the next episode.